The initiatives of the Indian government to enhance the quality of higher education across the country are laudable. In this context, what is worrisome is the fact that no Indian university has figured in the Shanghai QS World Ranking of Universities. To get an expert view and comments on the present trends and future opportunities of higher education in India, we spoke to PadmaShri Professor J.A.K. Tareen, Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University. He is a great scholar and an able administrator with rich experience in higher education. He played a significant role in drafting the proposals for higher education in the 12th plan on behalf of the Government of India. In this interview, he proposes plans to infuse the Indian higher education with a new strength and character in order to make our educational institutions an abode of learning of international standards.
The question you asked me about why Indian universities have not been able to figure anywhere into the world ranking system, particularly the QS Shanghai ranking, which was just announced last week, is a very good question. As a matter of fact, if someone takes this seriously, then there are a lot of issues we need to address in our higher education system. To my understanding, there are certain critical issues. Unless these issues are satisfied, there is no way we can go even near to any globally competitive university. What are these? Now you need to compare the top ranking universities in the world and any of the universities in India. What emerges out very glaringly and conspicuously are 3 or 4 very important factors which we have ignored since independence. Number 1, the classical argument of quality against quantity is not valid. It's like fishing in a pond. You get small fishes and crabs, but if you fish in a huge place or in an ocean, you will get small fishes and crabs, but you have a chance of striking at a whale or a shark. That whale and a shark is an inventor, is a Nobel laureate. We have completely ignored that factor. All our universities are far, far below the critical mass. Let me give you some examples. If you take the top single campus universities of United States, the minimum strength they have on the campus is about 25,000 students to 40, and the highest number is about 45,000 students. Now what is our strength? Our strength is such a large country of 1.3 billion has about 559 universities with a total population of about 2 million, which works out to hardly 3,500 students per university. Look at Pondicherry University. This university 4 years back had only 1,850 students. In 4 years, we increased it to 6,500 students. But even now, we have not reached the critical mass. None of the Indian universities have the basic requirement of critical mass. Secondly, the huge campuses of the Indian universities are all underutilized. Any campus abroad with an area of about 500 to 600 acres of land will have a student population of 20 to 25,000. Here we have 300, 400 to 2,500 acres of land with hardly 3,500 students. We are absolutely conservative in increasing the number and looking ahead to compete with the world. This is one major factor. What is the second factor? The fragmentation of higher education into undergraduate education and the postgraduate education. Nowhere in the world we have this kind of a fragmentation. Either a college which is standalone offers its own degrees as an autonomous body, or it is a part of a university. In the Western countries, we have the single campus universities and multiple campus universities. If these multiple campus universities, the number may cross over 100,000 students. I am not talking of distance education, I am talking of the regular students. But then, any student who enters an undergraduate program, either he enters into an autonomous college, which is a degree awarding college, almost like a university, or he enters the university itself. So, the undergraduation starts under the blessings and umbrella of a university, where a senior university professor teaches the undergraduate program. The ambience of a postgraduate campus, a university campus, is also available to an undergraduate student. The library, the infrastructure, the teaching faculty. So, therefore, you have an excellent training to a student over a period of time where he finishes his undergraduation, gets into the graduate program we call as a postgraduate program, and then gets on to the PhD program. So, obviously, the quality of the student is far better here than in a fragmented system. So, we need to immediately switch over it has to be a major structural change in the country which has to come. There has to be an immediate change which makes the universities with possessing the critical mass of students, universities which have undergraduate program integrated with the postgraduate program. Then the question asked is, what do you do with the existing colleges? Affiliation to a university, some of the universities with huge number of colleges, both the colleges waste their time every year going around renewing affiliations, meeting the officers, you know the consequences of such controls, and then the university wastes its time on this. If all these colleges are allowed to a new model which I have proposed in the 12th five-year plan, namely college clustered multiple campus universities, college cluster CC multiple campus universities, MCU. Now, these are a number of colleges ranging between 5 to 20 to 25 can be clustered into an university. They are not affiliated colleges, but they are a part of the university. So, this university is a multi-campus university. It has its own system and the university system and the education system and its own vice chancellor. There is a freedom for them to evolve. There is a freedom for them to be innovating, come out with new programs, increase their postgraduate and undergraduate. And this will have an advantage of sharing the resources, sharing the faculty, and sharing everything. Now, this is another thing how we have to address. Teachers and students are not in a position to move from one university to another university, let alone teachers and students coming from overseas. So, we need to understand that isolation breeds degeneration, interaction promotes evolution and innovation. Unless we completely allow mobility of students and teachers between the universities, between industry and university, and open up our universities for appointment of faculty from overseas on contracts, 1 or 2 years. Professors and scientists from overseas, foreign countries should come and work here. Without this interaction, I am afraid a quality teaching and quality research is far from a dream. These are the 3 very important parameters. But there are other parameters, namely accreditation. The type of accreditation which we have, called the university accreditation, is in error, because you accredit a university, give a grading, which means that you have accredited it as a body. It is of no consequence to 3 people who are the stakeholders. Who are the 3 people who are first stakeholders? Number 1, student is a stakeholder, the employer is a stakeholder, and then the funding agency is a stakeholder. None of them know as to which is the discipline which deserves A grade in that university. It may so happen that some departments may deserve A grade, some may not deserve even C grade. So in the garb of a complete single A grade, many of the non-performing departments also enjoy. And a student is not in a position to choose the right department for his career because he goes with the rating. So discipline-wise rating and accreditation is very important. This is another factor. And a few other things which are very important are an excellent information access system, and finally an excellent research facility. A research facility which is globally competitive. But I must tell you, all this will happen if there is an ambience. With all these things, the university should have an ambience. There is a physical appearance which also has a psychological effect. A physical appearance has a psychological effect. The ambience is should be so conducive that it should become irresistible for a student and a teacher. It should become irresistible for a student and a teacher to do good work, good teaching, and good process. These are the factors. So now this is the reason why our universities do not figure globally, unless we address the question of critical mass, unless we address the question of fragmentation and abolish the affiliation system and create universities. And my own estimate is about 1,000 universities can be created in the country in the 12th plan if there is a will, by clustering totally 31,000 colleges. The country has got about 31,000 colleges with a student population of about 15 million. And the average comes to about 490. How sad. But 490 students in a college, does it make a college? It doesn't make a college. So these are the basic things which are required to take our universities to global level. Thank you.